What's up, guys? This is Casey from Casey's Customs, and this is the 1-year review on the cheapest TIG welder on the planet. Now, it was the cheapest TIG welder when I bought it a year ago. They're still pretty much the cheapest. There's a couple of videos online where guys have posted like a $50 TIG welder and a $40 TIG welder, and then they go ahead and they put their own hose and everything on it. Well, a hose is $200, so this is still the cheapest one at I think 150. At 150 bucks, that literally came with everything out of the box. They've made a couple adjustments in the year. For one, the first thing they did probably 2 months after I bought it was they completely changed the case. The case you get for it now is a digital display, and I think it might even be red instead of blue now. I'll have to check. I think they've changed it a couple times since then. But everybody that I've talked to, everybody that's bought it, everybody that's contacted me about it, it's still the same guts. It's still the same machine. You know, the way they do these Chinese machines is they're all made at the same factory, but they might have 10 different names. So I still have the link that I bought it from, where I got it on eBay, and like I said, they've changed that link themselves because they've changed the machine. So who knows what it is while you're watching it right now, but the whole time I've had it listed, I've checked on that link and it's still this basic machine. It may not come with certain things, but it's pretty much still ready to go out of the box, minus one or two things. The main thing I've seen missing off most of the machines is the air regulator, which is actually okay because this air regulator went out like the first week I bought it. It's a real piece of shit. They don't come with that, but like I said, you were gonna have to replace that anyway because they were so janky. And then I think one more thing I've seen them not come with is, it still comes with the TIG, still comes with all your attachments to basically get going, but it doesn't come with extra cups anymore. When I bought this, I think it came with like 10 extra cups. So I got a bunch of different cups to try. I think there was like a 2, a 4, a 6, and a 10, or 2, a 4, a 6, and an 8, something like that. But I think now it might just come with 1 or 2 cups. Again, it's not that big of a deal. Cups are like, you know, $5. Well, they're not even that. I think they're less. They're probably $1. So they've made little changes like that, but overall it's basically the same machine, and it's still right around 150 bucks that I bought it. I believe this has been my most popular video, or it might be my second most popular video. When I first started this a year ago, which is kind of cool to see how far we've came in a year, I never would have thought we'd all be, you know, locked in our homes because of the flu, but, you know, that happens, I guess. So one of the interesting things that happened in the last year was when I did this video, I think I had like right at 100 subscribers. I was just kind of starting to take my YouTube seriously. Nah, I wouldn't even say that. I really didn't start taking it seriously until 6 months ago, where I started doing weekly uploads at the very least. I was still kind of posting once every couple weeks, maybe once a month. It wasn't a priority. Now I'm a lot better about it, but I think now I'm at like 12 or 1300. So it's kind of amazing how much I think this video kind of springboarded my channel. But not only that, it also kind of showed me that I need to be consistent with stuff. Just like anything, you can't post, you know, a video a month, half-ass edited, and then hope people watch. So I've changed all that in a year, which is kind of cool. How has it performed in this year? I've had 0 issues at all. I've probably welded with it at least a couple hours a week the entire time I've had it. I had a couple days there where I was like welding up some frames and stuff, you know, like where I was doing like, I think a Mustang 2 front end on a chassis I built. I basically TIG welded that whole day with no issues. One thing I was worried about when I got it, just the duty cycle of how long it could run without getting overheated. I figured as cheap as it was, I could probably run it 20 or 30 minutes at a time, and then it was going to start, you know, acting up, start overheating. I've had 0 issues with that at all. I run it as a 110 unit. You can run it as 110 or 220. I've had a couple people ask me that. I run it as a 110, and it'll melt through everything I've ever done. I just welded up some half-inch plate here, and it burned right through it, and I'm only at 75% of my max volts. So, I mean, unless you're welding like 3/4 inch plate, 1 inch plate, I haven't really seen any reason to go to 220, but if you needed to, you can plug it right into a 220 and then you're gonna have a whole bunch extra juice. I'm gonna go through some of the most asked questions I've had, I've probably had 1,000 people literally ask, can you weld aluminum with this? This is a DC welder. For aluminum, you need to have AC, which is called alternate current. You can technically weld aluminum with a DC welder, but you have to run helium gas, which I've never even been able to find because usually you have to have a contract to get helium. So I've had no luck even trying it. My air compressor randomly started leaking, and there's nobody in here with me, so that's creepy. Oh, and then it just randomly stopped when I talked about it. It's cool, no fucking ghost or anything. Jesus, that scared me. You have to have a contract to get helium, and it's really expensive as well, so it's basically impossible. If you're gonna spend $300 or $400 on helium so that you can use a DC welder, you might as well just buy an AC welder so you can weld aluminum. So it's like one of those questions where technically you could, but it'd be so much of a pain in the ass to try and do it that it's not really worth it. So AC welders are a whole different ballgame. They're super expensive. I think the cheapest AC I've ever seen is like 500 bucks. You're not going to find an AC welder for $150, especially not a new one. Questions I've had. God damn, I'm an ugly son of a bitch. That is just not good. And I don't think I've got any better looking recently. People want to know how thin is the thinnest stuff you can weld with it. I've done a lot of sheet metal stuff with it. It definitely is a lot trickier getting your voltage right. You basically need to turn the machine all the way down and then just kind of just work with it until you can get where you want it. I had a hell of a time with it, just burning through everything sheet metal. I thought at first maybe this machine just wouldn't work with sheet metal because it seemed like it was putting out so much amperage, but I just had everything set up too high. You just got to kind of take your time with it, turn it way down and just go slow instead of just trying to go real fast. Welding sheet metal is always kind of slow anyway. Now that this welder isn't the exact welder in the link, has anybody had any problems with the one that I have listed? Like I said before, it's the same guts. As far as every time I've ever clicked on it and checked it, and I check it probably once a month just because I get that question so much. It's basically the exact same guts, and I've had people that have bought their new version that has had nothing but great luck with it. I actually kind of wish I had the newer version because the newer version has a digital display so you can see your exact amperage, whereas mine is just kind of a gauge, just like a knob. So it's kind of, I might be at 115, I might be at 110, I might be at 105. You can't really tell with the knob. It'd be nice if that was an actual gauge. So that is one thing that is nicer about the newer version. What plug did you buy for a 110? Like I said, when I bought it, it came with this weird Chinese plug. It was like 4 or 5 prongs. I've never seen anything like it. I had a bunch of people ask about that. How did I convert it? What I did was just go to like a Home Depot. You cut it off. Cut off the, it's still just a 3-wire plug. I don't know, on their 4-prong, I think it was, 2 of the wires went to 1 prong, but it's still just 3 wires, red, white, black, or whatever it is. Cut it and just put a normal plug in on it. It's super easy. If you want to do 220, it's the same thing. Just hook it. There's no special adapter you need. It's all built into the machine. It can run 220 or 110. So, like I said, I've been 110. I have a 220 here, but I didn't want to have, it's only in one spot. Obviously, I got 110 all around the shop. So I wanted to try it 110, and I figured if it was just didn't have enough shit to it, I would run it to 220. But this whole year, I've rarely even turned it all the way up on max. Even like I said, half-inch plate, I'm at 70-80%. So trigger on the machine. A lot of people are confused about the trigger. So you can make the trigger. You can kind of set it up however you want to do it. Set it up to where it cuts out and lets go, if that makes any sense, of when your amperage is coming in. So you can make it so where you click the trigger once and it'll have like a 10-second heat cycle and then it'll just fade itself off. You can have it set up to where as soon as you click and let go, it kills itself, which is how I have it. That way I can have real good control where I just, while I'm wanting to weld, I hold it down. When I want to let go, I let go and it stops. Some people think that when you click these, it just stays on all the time until you pull it off. I've never had that problem. It seems like whenever I let go of the trigger, it stops itself. A lot of people say they hate the finger trigger. I kind of liked it. I thought it was great. I think you get more control out of a foot because you can actually lean into your heat less or more. You can't do that with this. Whatever it's set at as your knob is what you're going to be doing. Oh, is the TIG odd sizes? The other thing, I got that a bunch of times. People wanted to know, does it take a funky tungsten size or a funky cup or This is all the same shit that a Lincoln or like a Hobart runs. So my local welding shop had everything, whatever it is, 3/16 inch, whatever it is. But I don't know the exact size, but everything worked perfect. It's just the same as a Lincoln. So it doesn't have some. That was something I was actually worried about when I bought it. I figured it was going to have, you know, some weird threaded cuff that, you know, I wouldn't even know how to get replacement parts. But luckily that's not the case. It has all that. Not available. Yes, they did. When I first posted this, and I'm not saying that it's because of my video, but when I first posted it, I think they sold out in like a week. You know, I had 5,000 or 6,000 views in that first week, and they sold out. Now, I don't think that's from me, everybody watching this video wanting to buy them. I think what happened was other people like me were like, hey, $150 Tig Welder, we might as well give it a shot. You know, might as well try it out. But they replenish them as they can. I checked this 2 days before I filmed this video, and I could get one still. And granted, it had a long shipping delay because of the Corona bullshit, but they still had them in stock. So many questions about aluminum. Really, that's about it. That's most of the questions people had. There's so many people asking about aluminum. So I know people are looking for an aluminum welder. Like I said, you can do it with helium, but God, it would be so expensive. Overall, for a year, I mean, out of 10, I would call it a 9.5 out of 10. The pressure regulator, the flow regulator is about the only thing that was bad with it, which I kind of expected something to be bad, but I've loved it. I've loved it. I haven't, when I first bought it, I figured I would have it for a month, realize it sucked, and then buy a better one. I also wanted to have it to see how much I used it. I actually use it a shitload, so that's even more of a reason to buy a better one, but I just haven't really needed to. It's done everything I've wanted it to. It's done a lot of really pretty welds, it's done a lot of ugly welds, but I can't blame it on the machine, you know. I'm not the best TIG welder in the world. I really like it. It's working great. I still would recommend it to anybody that would want to try it. And I've had really no issues other than just some little stuff that you kind of run into everything. I bought this Hobart brand new for $700 2 years ago. I've had a couple little issues with it too. So it's performed great. A lot better than I expected. It blew me away right out of the box because I assumed it would blow up, and it's kept on going. I've had no issues. So if you guys are still interested, or you're just interested on how it turned out for me, it's great. And like I said, I would still recommend it to anybody. Thank you guys very much for watching. Like I said, my channel's a lot more serious than it was a year ago. I post something at least every week. It's usually hot rods. It's not very many reviews like it was, but it's a lot of hot rod stuff if you like that. So please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps the channel grow. And if you have any more questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer. And I think that's it. Thanks guys very much. Peace.